Good. My name is Richard Bascom. I work at Constellation Web Solutions. We're the company that has been working with Stacy and your team on developing the new website that you see on your screens in front of you. This project took a fairly long period of time because of the complexity of the website, but there's many things built into the website that are not built for the consumer to use to help improve their search for a home or their ability to find what they're looking for, but also to help each of you market and promote yourself, promote your listings, generate more leads, get more listings, and ultimately give you an online resource for marketing and promoting yourself and your properties. So what we're going to do today is, on a high level, we'll go through some of the more compelling features of the website. We'll talk about the features and benefits that they offer, and then we'll talk specifically about the features and tools that are beneficial for you as an individual. And then we'll go back into the admin area and we'll give you a demonstration on how easy it is for you to make changes to your profile page and to your personal website. You'll notice that when consumers first come to the site, they have the ability to begin searching for homes. That's what they're there for. They want to find properties. So immediately, a consumer can enter a street address or a city, and as they begin typing, matching names appear. Well, this makes it easy for consumers who may not know the spelling or may not remember the name of the street. They do remember the house number, or conversely, they might remember the house number, but they don't remember the name of the street. And by beginning to type something dynamically, the website will give them matches, allow them to immediately go to that property or to that search to find the home that they're interested in viewing. It's all designed to make it very easy for consumers to find homes, which ultimately will encourage them to come back to your website with more frequency and ultimately stay on the website for a longer period of time. We also give the user the ability to choose their search criteria based on what's most important to them. Their price range can be any number. They don't have to choose from a drop-down menu and a list of prices. They could write $250,937 if they wanted to, and any listing that starts at that price and goes up to the high end that they've entered will show up in the search. In addition, consumers can expand the advanced search option, add additional criteria, either square footage, the year built, a search radius around the area, the date the property was listed, and so on. When a consumer does a search, we take them immediately to a list of properties that shows the Oconor and Mooney properties first, followed by IDX properties. This helps to give your listings a higher priority and more visibility. And of course, when we show your listings, the listing agent is featured alongside their property, both on the search result and on the detail page. You notice here that the list agent is featured. We're pulling that information from the MLS. Both agents will appear on the listing. Both agents will get that visibility for the property and will show the listing under their list of my properties. The primary agent is the one that will get any leads that are generated from that property. So you'll have to work out amongst yourselves if you are listing properties with individuals to determine who should be the primary on that listing for the leads that are being generated. In addition to searching and finding homes, the consumer has the option to save listings. As I just clicked in to save a property, and when I do access my account, I'll have access to all the saved listings I had. If I don't have an account, I'm encouraged to create one. Once created, the user has the ability to create saved searches and set up email alerts, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then you'll also notice that as the listings are saved, they're marked as saved, so that as long as the user is logged in, any property that they've already saved will be indicated as such. As I'm viewing these listings, I can also select property for comparison. I've selected for, and when you mouse over the compare option and then go to the list of compared properties, you can compare the listings side by side, comparing the information that is available based on the MLS data. You also change the information that's being compared to match what's most important to you. And in addition, if you choose to, you can view where those listings are located on a map. You see that these properties are pretty well spread out across the Baltimore area. Or the user can click driving directions, and once they enter a starting address, I don't know an address in Baltimore, so I'm just going to search from the center. I'm going to drive from the center of the city by entering the name Baltimore, and when you get these driving directions, you see a map showing the route to the properties, and then turn-by-turn directions along with a thumbnail of each property, the price, the beds, the baths, the MLS ID, and of course the street address. All of this is printable, and gives the user the ability to take that with them if they're going out to a few open houses on Sunday, or if they and their spouse or significant other want to go visit the listings, they'll have the ability to do so directly from your site. They don't have to go to another website to do it. They can conduct all this activity inside the Oconor and Mooney website, making their search experience much better than what they might find on your competitors. You'll notice that I've searched for homes from 250,000 to 430,000, and at this point I can narrow my criteria if I want, or using the advanced search fields I can search for or narrow the search based on additional criteria. I want to demonstrate the keyword search for a second, but to do it I need to find something in the remarks that I can search for. Okay, notice here it says spacious Cape Cod. Let's say I wanted to search for Cod type properties, or for any listing that had Cape Cod mentioned in the remarks field. I can, in the advanced search options, I can enter whatever keyword it is that I want to search for. And this could be Marvin windows, granite countertops, whirlpool tubs, cathedral ceilings, anything that the agent has written in the public remarks in the MLS or listed as features on the MLS data sheet would be searchable by this keyword search option. And allowing this for the user helps them search for homes in a way that is a little less traditional than what other websites might offer. In fact, keyword search is pretty unusual. Not many websites offer it. So I did a Cape Cod search. We already know that this listing has Cape Cod referenced in it, and you'll find that each of these properties will also have Cape Cod mentioned somewhere. Beautiful Cape Cod, here it is, right in the remarks field. So it's unlimited what the user can do when they're searching using the keyword search option. In addition, we give the user multiple options for how they view the listings they're viewing. We're looking at a list-only view, and at this point, I can even change how many listings are visible per page, from 12 to 24 to 36. Or, if I'd rather see a map and list view of these listings, I can click Map List View, and it will do the search and show me where all of the current results are located, along with a list view of those properties. And here, if I then see that, I want to live here in the sort of northwest area of Baltimore, clicking on that yard sign will zoom into that area and open up additional listings. And as I change my search on the map, the list on the left changes accordingly. So the list will always match up with what you see on the map. One other quick thing that I'll mention is anytime there's a new listing, a price change, or an open house, you'll see the listing is flagged at the top. In this case, we have both a new listing and a listing scheduled for open house. The open house scheduled on this property August 30th at 1 p.m. I believe that data is, in fact, I know that data is being pulled from MLS. So all local area MLS listings with open houses scheduled are being seen in the Oconor and Mooney website, which ultimately makes your website somewhat of an authority for consumers searching for homes. They can find open houses, and of course they can find homes for sale based on the areas that they're searching in. I also do a map-only view, and there we go. In the map-only view, it is exactly what you'd think, a map view of the properties that's dynamic. As you move the map, the search criteria will change based on the geographic area that you're searching in. And as you view properties for sale and click a listing for details, you get a little bubble with the additional information and an option to go to the property detail page where you can get more information about that particular listing. You can always go back to the listing and view the details on the map again, or ultimately, if you like all the homes or you want to save this search to find future listings when you come back to the site, you can click Save Search, and then if you want, you can give the search a name. We'll call this one My Map Search. And we also are given an option to select what kind of email alerts we want to get. I've chosen new to market, open house, and price change. And what will happen is any listing that's located in the area that you see on the map that is new to market, has a price change, or scheduled for an open house will be sent to me in an email updating me about those properties as they come into the website starting tomorrow, and with whatever frequency I've established in my account, and we'll show you that in user account in just a second. It's an important aspect of the website because it does give the user the ability to personalize their experience so that they're more inclined to come back and use your site with more frequency. You've noticed, and I kind of zoomed out again on that one property, but the pins of the properties, or these little map locations that you see here, are different colors on the map. When they're red, they're open house. When they're blue, it's a condo. When it's gold, it's a single family. Orange is multifamily, and yellow is all other properties. So it gives some visual cues for consumer. In addition, consumers can draw a map search by clicking the Draw Search area. And here, if they wanted, they could zoom into the specific neighborhood they wanted to search, click on the points of the map that they want to search by, and once they've finished that area by clicking their initial starting point, a listing located in the drawn area will then be visible. Click for details and it shows up as such. This too is a savable option, so I can save my search and ultimately get email alerts for listings that are in that specific geographic area based on the area that I drew. The whole idea here is to give the consumer as many options as possible to personalize their experience, to encourage them to use your website exclusively. So for agents, consumers can click and see all the beautiful smiling faces of the Oconor and Mooney agents by either scrolling down a list of agents here, and that shows all of the agents in the company. You'll notice a few agents have yet to get their photos in. I encourage you to do that. Consumers love images, and having a visual of what you look like can be beneficial and helpful to the user when it comes time to meet and ultimately get to know you better about your services and what you offer. Consumers can also search for agents by name, either first or last name. They can begin to type the name and matching names appear. You'll notice I searched for Joan. You can also search by language spoken, by the first initial that the last name begins with, by office, and then if you click search, your results will appear as such. When you go to an agent's profile page, You'll notice that their slogan appears at the top of the page along with their personal information. Their biography or information that they've written to talk about themselves appears below that. And here you'll see that the agent does have the ability to add photos into their profile. They can add videos if they want to. They can, of course, put links if they choose to. And they can add additional pages. In this case, Joan added a page about one of her sold listings, a beautiful home in Baltimore. She's added information that came from a blog that talks about her as a super lister. And every agent also has a local schools link that shows local schools in the general area of Baltimore. This is an interactive map that users can zoom into and see more schools or see schools in specific areas. When you click the school, it gives you some additional information about the school, the address and phone number, number of students, their state ranking, if it's available, and so on. The agent's list of My Properties features all of that agent's listings. When you go to a property detail page, the agent is given a really good visibility on the page, nice large photo. Of course, a contact form is prominent on the page. This helps the user generate a lead very easily. Consumers can also choose, to add their contact info in terms of what's the best way to reach them. And we give you some guidance if you don't already do this. If someone checks or indicates that they want to get an email in their message, a really good idea to make sure that you send them an email prior to doing follow-up. And if they give their email address, I think that's a very good likelihood that they're going to want to receive some kind of communication from you in that fashion before you call them as a way of introducing yourself. On every listing, we have additional options. You can add listings to compare. You can save properties that you like. You can get driving directions, and it works just like the property compare driving directions did. You can view where a listing is located on a map. You can drag this little street view guide down to the map, go to the listing, and see right where that property is on the map at the street level. A neat feature for getting down to the street level and seeing the neighborhood around the home. You can email a friend, and the neat thing about this feature is if you use this tool from one of your listings, your photo and contact information is automatically included. And when the user, whoever it is, you would put in your email here, and then the person that you want to send this email to, their address would go there. And whoever you send this email to would get an email from the website with your contact information along with the information about the listing with photos and your photo as well. So it's a nice visual email that the user gets to introduce them to this property. It happens that Email a Friend is one of the most popular features on virtually all of our sites and is used heavily by consumers. The nice thing is we capture both email addresses, both the sending email address and the receiving email address, and you have access to that in the admin area, which we'll show you in a moment. It also has some additional community information in it, community statistics, where you get basic demographic information, nearby schools, that's directly around the property, and here once again it'll show you where the listing is and all the schools that are located around that listing, both public and private. We also give you nearby sold listings. And here, we're going to show all listings that sold within the last year. The consumer can expand that to show 2 years if you want, or if they want to. But the user also has the option to limit the number of sold listings based on a specific price range. So here, we're going to limit the sold listings that we see so that it's only listings from 250 to 300,000 in a radius of 1 mile. And when I click Update, these sold listings that are closest in price to that property, within 250 to 300,000, I think the property we're looking at was about a $250,000 home. So it's almost like it's a CMA of sorts in that it allows the user to find other sold listings around the property to see what they've sold for. The sold data that we're showing here, by the way, includes the sale price, or the sold price rather, the beds and baths, the date of the sale, and so on. And it's all coming from public tax records. It's not from the MLS. There aren't photos included. It's all based on public tax records. Finally, on every listing, we have what's nearby. This shows medical centers, beds and breakfast, bus stations, entertainment, golf courses, local hospitals, movie theaters, places of worship, all around the listing. And when you click and view, it shows you where the property is, along with each of the local churches that's located near that listing. And like before, you can zoom a little bit to get down to the neighborhood level. When you move your mouse over one of the churches, it gives you more details. And you scroll down the list, it'll show you all the churches. If you find one that you're interested in, you click that and scroll up, and it'll give you that specific church and give you the name of the church, distance from the listing, and so on. Very useful information that will provide the user with what they need to find more information. So the agents each have their own profile page, the list of my properties, and the ability to add additional listings to their personal profile. And in addition, every agent gets their own personal IDX website. The URL that we give you by default is oconorhomes.com/your first and last name. So in Joan's case, if I go to Oconor Homes /Joan Klein, it immediately takes me to Joan's main homepage, where I see her photo, her personal information, and her listings. Now, it happens that every agent has 3 options for what their homepage will look like. There's 3 different templates that you can choose from, so you can find the one that is closest to the way you'd like to present yourself. And then in addition to having a homepage like this, you also have your additional pages underneath the My Pages link, and also, which is over here in the navigation, and also those pages that are attached to your profile at the top of your profile page. You have an ability to add as many pages to your profile as you choose to. Now, as the user navigates, your photo and contact information stays with the user as they go through the site, regardless of what listing they're looking at. If they to generate a lead, that lead is coming to you. If I'm in your website, as I'm in Joan's website right now, and I use email a friend, for example, the user would put their first and last name in these fields, and then they'd put their email address, as I'm doing, and then they put the person's email address that they want to send this to. Type wrong. And then they could write a personal note to them. And they click submit. The website's going to send an email to that user. I just got it. No, come yet. That was a different one. I'll get an email in just a second, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's coming soon. And that email will include the agent's photo. Here it is. Will include the agent's photo along with the property and their personal information. This is a bug that I just found. The logo isn't appearing properly. This is where the Oconor and Mooney's logo should appear, and the colors are not matching the website. This must have been overlooked or something. I will get this taken care of today, so it's by the end of the day or early tomorrow, this should be fixed. But the point to this is that it gives you as an agent, the ability to go into your website, use email to friend to send a listing to anybody you want, and when they get an email, that's going to come from you with your personal information attached to it, and the link that the user gets to view that listing will take them back to your personal website, that property detail page. In addition, when I'm in your website, as I am with Joan now, you'll notice one of the options in the search area is the My Property Search feature, and this is the personalization tool that users can use to save searches and save listings. When someone registers in an agent website, they're automatically affiliated with that agent, and what that means is, in my account, and I'll show this to you here, when I go into my account settings, that Joan is selected as my agent, and I have several saved searches here. So because Joan's my agent, and I start to get email alerts from the website for these saved searches, those alerts are coming from Joan, and they'll include Joan's photo and contact information, a link back to Joan's website to view the search, and Joan has the ability to go in and see all of that information. Joan can log into the back end of the site. She can see my account. She can see what listings I looked at. She can see what searches I've saved, and she can suggest additional listings for me. And I'll show you how that works when we go into the back end of the website in a moment, where you can see how you can utilize this tool to interact with buyers who are using your website. It's a very useful feature that allows you to interact with consumers that are using your website. There's a lot more that I could show you in the site, but I think your best experience is by using the site. So if you haven't yet already spent a lot of time, I encourage you to go to the website, play around with it, see how it works, get kind of comfortable with everything in it, and then if you have questions that you can't figure out on your own, check with Stacy or ask Stacy to check with us, and we'll get the answers that you need. There's also a manual that I put together for Stacy. She either has or will be distributing that, and that covers a lot of things that we don't have time to cover today about the website itself, its features and benefits. For example, one quick thing, as I mentioned earlier, when a user is in your website, they're searching for homes and they find listings, if a consumer does a printable brochure on any listing, your photo and contact information is included in that printable brochure. You remember the property compare brochure that we did earlier? If somebody did driving directions while in your website, type and talk at the same time. It's kind of chewing gum and walking. I just can't do it. If somebody's in your website when they do a driving direction, and that one failed for some reason. Let me try it again. Spelled wrong. There. And you'll notice that your photo and contact information is included in that driving direction brochure. So one thing a lot of agents do is, they've got an open house this Sunday. They come to their personal website. They search for listings that are similar to the open house that they're doing. They select them for comparison, and maybe the first listing they choose is the open house listing. And then they get driving directions to all the properties that are similar to the open house. And as buyers come through the open house, the agents pass out this brochure, sharing the information and saying, we hope you like the listing you've just seen, but in the event you're looking for something slightly different, here are 4 similar properties you may check out, and taking the liberty of giving you driving directions if you have time and would like to go visit those homes today. If they take it and go do that, your contact information's at the top of the page. Very likely that they're going to contact you to get more information when they're ready. So there's lots of tools like this that really help personalize the user experience and build that online relationship with you, which will help encourage more lead generation and ultimately help you market and promote your properties and yourself more effectively. So before we go into the back end of the website, let me just check and see if there's any questions on anything that I've covered so far. Okay.
Unfortunately, the largest you will have the opportunity to watch the recorded copy of this on your own computer.
I did. I'm recording a video of this presentation that I'll share with Stacy after the meeting. So if you're not able to see it well in your current location, you'll be able to watch the video, and hopefully that'll give you a better view of what we've talked about. And there are no questions. You'll at least on Joan's personal website, she got a welcome greeting below her photo, and at the very bottom of the page, she's added a video about Baltimore. This is a really kind of cool HD video of a drone flying throughout the city of Baltimore from morning to sunset. Kind of a neat video that was found on YouTube. You also have the ability to record a video of yourself using your cell phone or any video recorder you might have. And once you've uploaded that video to YouTube, you could embed that video into your profile page, giving yourself a nice video biography that you can share with buyers. A lot of agents do that, and it helps consumers get to know you a little bit better. I would encourage trying it. The first thing you want to do when you do record that video is you want to practice what you say a lot, because you want to stumble. You don't want to be doing a lot of when you're recording it. So you might want to script it out a little bit, get comfortable with it, and then do what you do best. Sell yourself and talk to your spouse or significant other, whoever's recording it, one-on-one, and just have them record it. And at the end of it, you'll have a nice video marketing yourself that you can put into several locations in your website and or your profile page. And to do that, all you have to do is click at the very bottom of the website where it says Agent Dashboard. And when it brings you to this screen, you're going to see that there's a username and password field. Your username is your agent MLS ID. Your password, I'm going on memory, and it's been a long time since I put the manual together, but I think password is the word password followed by the number 1, and that's all lowercase letters. Is that right, Stacy?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So your MLS ID in the first field, and word password, lowercase letters, followed by the number 1. When you first log in, and forgive me for a moment, I need to pretend that I'm Joan, so I'm going to use one of our special administrative features. Let me just find Joan on this list. Is Joan in the room?
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me using as a guinea pig for this. So I'm going to impersonate Joan, and essentially, when you first log in, this is the first screen you're going to see. You see your user ID at the top, that's your agent MLS ID, and then down below you're going to see some basic statistics about your inventory. One will say there are a total of 6 listings that you have in the site. You've got X number of listings without remarks. You've got 5 listings with only 1 photo. I would bet that those are either new listings or maybe they're lots and land or what have you. You've got 0 listings with no photos. You've got 4 listings with no virtual tours. Now, let's say you have virtual tours that you're putting in the MLS, and those are unbranded, like most MLSs allow. Most MLSs don't let you put the branded virtual tours in the MLS data because they don't want them showing up on your competitor websites. If you wanted to add virtual tours to your listings here, if this says there are 4 listings with no virtual tours, if you click that, it will take you to a list of those 4 properties, and by clicking this little asterisk to the left, you'll note that one of the options is virtual tours, and when you click that, you can click Add New Tour, and all you do is copy and paste the URL for that virtual tour. Once you pasted it on the listing, within a couple minutes, that listing will showcase that virtual tour on the property detail page. So it's real easy to add branded guided tours or virtual tours to your listings, and that's how you would do it. Underneath profiles, when you click agent maintenance, this is going to take you to your personal profile page where you can edit your name or your personal information. Now, the first thing that I want to point out is the first name and the last name fields are only for your first and last name, nothing else. Don't put title in there. Don't put an initial in there. Don't do anything else other than putting your first and last name in those fields, because we use those names, first and last, for your agent URL. So in Joan's case, Joan Klein is the back end of the URL for her website. The full URL, as I mentioned earlier, is www.homes.com/Joan Klein, exactly as it appears here. And the reason I'm making a big deal out of this is sometimes I've seen agents put a middle initial in this field. Like, let's say Joan's middle initial is the letter M, and she puts a period after it. And if she did this, that would appear on her profile page. It would say Joan M. Klein, but her new URL is going to be homes.com/Joan M.Klein, and that's just really weird. You don't want to do that. So always make sure only your first and last name are in those fields. You have a title or designation or a middle initial, there's other fields for that. The middle initial field. If you want to put a middle initial there, perfect. Just enter it in that field. It'll show up on your profile. It does not change your URL in any way. It's still your first and last name that's used for that. There's a title designations field, and here you'll see Joan has entered her CRS, REMDA. She's also added a 5-star Zillow agent. And having that appears as a very prominent headline on her profile page. Joan has added a slogan on her page, and her slogan on her page also puts a very prominent slogan onto her profile page. And this helps to market some aspect of the service or business that you do. You'll notice that we've also, Joan also put her domain, her URL, into the private website address field, oconorhomes.com/Joan Klein. By putting that URL in this field, it adds a link onto her profile page that says, visit my website. So from Joan's profile page, if somebody clicks that link, it's automatically going to launch her personal site. In this field, the agent video field, if you add a video to this field, it's a YouTube embed code. The video is automatically embedded into your profile page directly below your photo and contact information. It looks really nice, it's very professional, and it allows you to get your video really prominently displayed on your page, and all you have to do is copy and paste the embed code into this field. I did create a short video that I've already given Stacy that talks about editing the profile page and talks about adding the video into this field. And I have another video shortly that specifically deals with embedding videos and uploading photos to your profile. It's easy to do. You just have to know which video to add and the proper dimensions to use. In this case, the dimensions are limited to 560 by 335. But rather than confuse you and going through all the specifics of that, future videos and a training manual that's already in Stacy's hand will give you some guidance on how to do that. The description that you see in this field is really just biography, and here she's pasted in all her personal information along with adding some images to make it more visually appealing, talking about Joan the services that she offers and the benefits of working with Joan. By having this information entered here, it shows up beautifully on her profile page, looks really professional, and it gives you a really nice looking starting point for meeting consumers online in the Oconor and Mooney website. So the first step in writing your profile is really just to open up whatever word processing program you use, like Microsoft Word, for example. Write whatever you want to put on your profile in that document. Don't use any fancy formats. Don't use special fonts. Just write it, plain text. And if you want, you can put bullets and things like that in Microsoft Word. Once you've written it in Microsoft Word, highlight the text, like I'm doing here with my mouse, right-click and copy it. And then when you come into the editor, just click your mouse in the area where you want that text to be placed and it into place. And once it's in place, you can move it around or highlight the font to change the font or to change the color or what have you. That, too, is discussed in the other video that's already in Stacy's hands. So if you need some additional help there, it's easy to do. Jo's already done some editing on her profile page from since we launched the website. She herself or someone working with her has added this video down at the bottom and added this photo down here. And they did a marvelous job. So it is really easy to do, so don't be intimidated by it. But it does help you to market and promote yourself with more than just words. I think that's very important. A little down, social media. These are Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. If you have a blog and you want to link to it, all of these URLs are entered in these fields. It's very important that you always include the HTTP and whatever the URL is. The best thing to do is to go to the website social network that you're talking about, profile on LinkedIn, just to show you what I mean. And once you're on your profile, copy the URL that they've got here and highlight it and copied it with your mouse. In your admin area, clear link into the appropriate field, right-click and paste. And just always make sure that there's no space before the domain. In other words, if I had accidentally hit my space bar and a space before the domain and I tried to save that, I'm going to get a warning message that says, whoops, that's not a proper URL. So if you ever see that, chances are you've got a space at the very beginning. Just click your mouse at the start of that back button and it should clean it up. But it's easy to do. Just go to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, wherever your profile is, copy the URL, paste it in the appropriate field, and an icon for that social network will appear on your website. You know, I mentioned you each have a personal website that consumers can visit on their browser, www.oconor.homes.com/your name. Also have a mobile website. It's automatically. Somebody doesn't have to type in your domain for the mobile site. All they have to do is go to your normal domain on their mobile phone. And if I were on a mobile phone and I had gone to oconorhomes.com/Joan Klein, I've automatically been directed to her personal mobile website. And what's cool about the mobile site, it has a very easy to use search, and it includes a GPS search that allows the user to search based on where they're located. Ultimately, it will allow consumers to search within specific neighborhoods, homes that are closest to where they happen to be standing at that point. And your name and contact information follows the user as they navigate through the site. Any lead generated by the user is automatically sent to you if they're in your mobile website. And if the user saves the listing, as I'm about to, course, right down here, I click Save. It's going to ask me for my account number, which is a mobile phone number. And when I click Enter, in my favorites, all things that I've saved on the mobile website and all the listings that I saved in the main website are going to be visible to me here. So it ties the two together and allows the user to see both. So I wanted to point out that you each have a mobile site in addition to a traditional website. And in the admin area, you'll see this QR code feature that allows you to add a QR code to your profile page. When you choose mobile site, the QR code actually will launch your mobile website when somebody reads that QR code. If you choose Contact vCard, that would, if I read this with my phone, it would create a contact record in my address book and would put Joan's phone numbers into that space. A little further down, you'll notice that there are two additional templates besides the one that Joan is using now for the individual agent websites. They're totally different from each other. One has navigation on the left with the search element directly over the image. The other has the search element to the right of the image and navigation that runs across the top with your phone at the top of the page. I don't know if you can see these very well. Joan, if you don't mind, I'm going to change the template just so I can demonstrate this to the agents. I'll get back to the other template in a moment, but we'll choose this template, the third template. And once you've chosen it from your drop-down menu here, you would simply scroll down, make sure you've uploaded some photos into these fields. This allows you to have your own personal images up on the main home page of that website. And this will give you some idea of the dimensions you need to use for those photos. Don't make them smaller than that or they won't fit the space well. Make them bigger than that, they might not fit the space very well either. But with most photo programs, you have the ability to adjust or crop the size to meet those dimensions. And once you've done that, upload it to these spaces. And when somebody visits your website, as I'm about to for Joan, it's totally different looking. So remember, the other one had her photos directly below her photo and then had a content block at the bottom of the page. This template gives you a slideshow featuring those three images that you uploaded. Your personal information is at the top, your slogan here, your social networks there, and so on. And then you have 4 content blocks. And Joan is using 2 of them. So the first content block is here. That's that welcome greeting that you see on her page. And what's nice about this, and what you're seeing right now, is that it gives you inline editing capability. In other words, in one browser, I'm logged into the admin, right? So see that I'm logged in here. If I open up a browser and go to Joan's website, as long as I'm logged in, it's going to give me inline editing capabilities that allows me to edit the content while I'm viewing the page. The reason that's beneficial is that you don't have to go back and forth and look at the website after you make changes. You're going to see the changes as you make them. So if you try to put a photo or a video or do something that you're not sure how it's going to look, you're going to see immediately that it either looks good or it doesn't, and then you're able to make your edits and changes accordingly. So you click Edit Content Block, it opens up the editor, and then it works just like the editor or any word processing program does. Start typing, paste whatever words you want. If you want to insert an image, just click the image icon and upload images that you want to upload. If you find an image you want, I'm going to show this to you really quickly. It's important that you always manage the width of the image so that it fits and appears properly. In this case, this is a small sign. We don't want it to be too large, so we're going to give it a width of 200 pixels. I click that image and add width to this. I don't have to add anything to the height. That happens automatically. I click Insert. You see the image is inserted, but it's floating in the middle of the page, and I want it over to the right, on the right of the text. So I just click the image and go to the Format tool right here, and look closely. There's an option to either float image left or float image right. I'm going to use float image right, and it floats the image over to the right. Now, you also grab the image and move up a little bit, as I just did, and then float again. It appears to the right of the page with the text on the left. It makes it look really nice and professional, and it's real easy to do. If you've added an image, you don't like it, you don't want to save it, just hit cancel. And it goes back to the way it was before. Another idea is if you've made some edits, let's say I've just, oops, oh goodness, I just erased it, and you want to put it back, hit Control Z. Whatever the last thing is that you did will be undone. I don't know if you guys know that keyword, that key stroke tip, but it is really helpful if you happen to do something by accident and you want to get it back to the way it was. If you've done 5 things by accident, you could hit Control Z 5 times and it would undo each of those things as long as you have not already saved the work. So it's a nice little tip, and it may prove helpful to you. I mentioned you have up to 4 content blocks here, and you'll notice down here at the bottom there's 3 options. And the way this works is if you add content in the first block, as Joan has done, Joan added a video into this field, and that's the only thing you add, then these blocks will not be seen, and that video is going to fill the entire page. If you'd written a paragraph of information and not use these 2 blocks, then the content would fit the entire page. If you wanted video on the left and content on the right, you need to first make sure the video size was correct. Probably about 450 pixels wide would be appropriate. And then if you write text in the second box, the video would be on the left and an equal side would be on the right, and that's where the text would be. And you want 3 columns of content, you simply write content in each 3 blocks, seeing them each time. As you write and save that content, you would be adding those content blocks in that fashion. So the whole idea here is to give you multiple options for your content is being displayed on your home page. Real quickly, because we don't have a lot of time, and I will do a video on this in particular, how to add new pages. If you want to add pages, you do that by clicking on the content and then link in navigation and then agent content pages there. And then you simply add a new page. In the process, you need to give it a page title. If you want to get SEO value for this page, you need to give it a meta title and a meta description. You add meta keywords if you want for that. They'll discuss this in more detail in the video to give you some ideas on it. But if you do this well, you have a chance for improving how you can be found on the search engines. And the more you write, the more content pages you add to your website, the bigger chances of showing up on the search engine are. So I encourage you to write content about the different areas you serve, about the different aspects of your real estate, your career, your history, the specialties you offer, and so on. And that information will help round out your site, but it will also help improve how you show up in the search engines for consumers searching for various keywords. And again, we'll discuss the hows and the how to do this stuff in that second video that I'll be recording and getting to Stacy within the next day or so. Underneath property, there's a really neat feature called e-card maintenance. Here you have the ability to create e-cards for any one of your active listings. You click the icon. Let me see if I already have one on any of these. If I did. Apparently not. No. So you click Add e-card,
And you're going to see there's two different templates. You can choose either one of these just by clicking it. And then you're given a tagline at the top. This shows up as a headline on the e-card. And second field, the headline field, shows up as smaller text directly below that. Want to write there. And then there's the MLS remarks. You can either keep those remarks or you can write your own. And you can also write a custom greeting. What do you want to write? The longer you make it, the more space it's going to take up. So keep it short and to the point. You don't want to get too verbose in what information you provide, but you do want to get enough information to try to encourage the user to contact you or to request more information. Once you've written your information, add the photos that you want to include. You can add up to 7 images, and you just click Add Photo from the list of photos that's already there, having been pulled from the MLS. You can add more than 7. It'll stop you as soon as you try. You'll know that when it says no more, that's 7. And then you can add MLS features, and you can add up to 12 of these features. And with either the features or the photos, you can reorder them so that they appear in whatever sequence you want. Simply by clicking Move Up or Move Down, you can locate the images and or the MLS features exactly the way you want. If a listing is in a new community and has a builder and you work with them and you want to get their logo into the e-card, you can do that by uploading images into these 2 slots. If you want, you can also upload new photos for that same property instead of the logo, and that will appear on the e-card as well. When you're finished, click Save, and back to this screen where you can then view the e-card. Here's what it looks like. There's the logo, the slogan, or the headline, and then the smaller headline below it. The you chose, no greeting, your photo and contact information. The link will go back to your website to view this listing. You've got a wonderful e-card that took less than 5 minutes to create. Once you've created it and you're happy with it, click the email button right there, and that e-card is going to be sent to your email address, and once you receive it, you can send it using your email to anyone you're working with. So it's real easy to use. I encourage you to use it. It will help you market and promote your listings more effectively. I'd also show sellers how that feature works to let them know how you're going to be marketing homes once they list with you. The Sellers Report is a great feature that allows you to create reports for your sellers. The reports are created automatically by you. They're not created automatically. They're sent automatically. And what you do here is you have to choose yourself and your office and the listing you want to create a report for, which you want on Georgia. And then you put the seller's email address and name. Two different reports that you can include, a listing activity report and a competitive listing report. I'm going to choose both just so I can demonstrate this. Some agents will only send one or the other. Some agents always send both. It really is up to you, depending on what you want to do. You can also get a copy of every report that's sent. At the end of the day, when you finish creating this report, you schedule, and this report will automatically be sent on the schedule that you set, starting on whatever start date for whatever frequency, every week, every 2 weeks, or every month. And the seller gets that from your email address and updates them about all the activity their listings had in the last period. So on the seller report itself, 2 types. I've got the listing activity, which shows how many times the listing has shown up in searches, how many times people have seen the detail page, etc. And then the competitive listing, which shows the seller homes that are similar to their property that are new to market, have had a price change, or are located near the seller's property. So to do the competitive listing report, you first have to define what a competitive listing is. In this case, we're going to look for listings that are 517 to 632,000. I could add beds and baths if you want, or I could leave that open. I could also put square footage. For this, I'm going to just leave it open for the time being. The draw area allows you to define the specific area around the listing that competitive listing should come from. And if you look at this, it looks like it's sort of in a residential neighborhood, may even be on a cul-de-sac. So what we want to do is click this little draw icon at the very top, and then I click on the map, the area around the property, as I've done, that competitive listing should come from. When you finish, as I just did, any listing that's located in the red area that I drew that meets the price range and the other criteria that I entered, that's new to market, nearby, or has had a price change, is going to show up in the competitive listing report. This particular property, here's the seller's listing at the top. It's a new listing that came in relatively recently, and then nearby properties that are in the general area that I drew on the map, and then here's a map showing where each of those homes are. And you can see there's one listing located directly next to that seller's property. So this could be very beneficial for the seller to understand that it's not just their property that you're worried about, but it's all the listings around the listing that are also selling to buyers or being marketed to buyers. And ultimately, it's a competitive market out there. So if a seller is really stubborn about price and they listed too high and they wouldn't listen to you, and it's been on the market for 240 days and you're getting frustrated, do a competitive listing report to show all the similar homes around their property, and it might just be enough to convince them to lower their price. We've seen that work very effectively for a lot of agents, and for other sellers, it's merely good information to have about the activity for homes around their property. Once you've created a report, I'll show you the listing activity report real quickly. Listing activity report shows charts and graphs detailing all the activity that listing has had inside OconorHomes.com. Why it's taking so long. Normally it appears real quickly. Sometimes when we do go to meeting or WebEx meetings, it kind of interferes with what has to happen. I'll come back to that in a moment. Once you've created a report, you go to Schedule Reports, and here you choose the report you created. You enter a start date. Maybe this is a new listing, so you want to start the report in 30 days. And then you want the report to be sent every 30 days. And once you set that on that date for whatever frequency, the report will be sent on your behalf to the seller. Then you'll be able to view, when you access these reports, when the last time it was sent, when the next one's scheduled to be sent, and whether or not the seller has ever opted out of receiving the report. Of course, we don't want to just send the seller lots of emails and just bombard them if they don't want to receive these anymore. They do get that option in the admin. I want to show you, before we go to the other questions, is the my property search reports. And what this is a view of anybody who has ever registered in your website. As you saw earlier today, I showed you my account inside the Oconor Mooney Homes. I showed you that I had selected Joan as my agent. And here my account is right here in Joan's admin. When you click View Details, it shows you the date that I registered. It shows you all my personal information, whatever information I added. I put my phone number, so Joan's got my mobile number here. I got the saved searches and the criteria that I saved and the kind of email alerts I want to get. Here are listings I've saved. Here are things I saved on the mobile website. And then these are listings I looked at and the date and time that I looked at them. So the agent can actually see what the user is doing inside their site. And then using this feature, Suggest Properties, the agent can suggest listings for the buyer to consider and write them agreeing. I thought you might like these. I'll just keep it a really short message. Normally, you would add an MLS number. For the purposes of this, I'm just going to search by listings on Main Street. I shouldn't have done that. But again, usually you either want to search by street address or MLS ID. Once you find the listings you want to suggest, you just click Suggest next to that property. They're added to the list that you're going to suggest. And when you click Suggest, the email is sent automatically to the buyer, and to me in this case. And a link in the email will take me back into Joan's website. I just got that email. Let me show it to you real quick. The email that just came from Joan with her photo and contact information and all the information about those properties. And then when I go back into my website and I access my account, to see that there is a you're going to see that there's a new thing added called Agent Suggestions. And this will show me all the listings that were ever suggested for me by this agent. It becomes a place for me and my agent for my agent anyway, to share properties for me that I might be interested in. And if you think about it, if I've got a saved search in Baltimore for listings from 250 to 300,000 beds, 4 baths, I'll never get an email alert for a listing priced at $249 or a listing priced at $301, but I might buy either one of them. Using the agent suggestions, agents can personalize greetings for the buyer, send listings that they might not otherwise get as a way of trying to entice them to get more interest and ultimately to build that relationship to where might actually sell them a listing. So it is a very useful feature for that interactivity with the buyer in the early days of their home search. There are other areas inside the website admin. There is a basic property reports feature that gives you actual general report about listing activity within your website. Their Teams module in the site for agents who work as a team. You'll need to get with Stacy about getting the team profiles built if there are any teams in the company. So you could have a team website as well as a personal site. And all those things are covered in the manual that I put together, and it will be touched on in the other video that I'll be creating. So at the end of this, I'll give you the video we just did of our presentation today. It may serve to remind you about some of the things we talked about. Stacy's got a video already for how to edit your profile pages. It could be very helpful for you. And I'll have 1 or 2 other videos dealing with some of the administrative things to give you some more insight into how to do this stuff. But then I really encourage you to do something with it. The worst thing for you to do is to leave your profile page blank. Go to a listing presentation, and after that presentation, leave the house. The seller, first thing they're going to do is go to your website after you're gone, and if they find a blank page on your profile, sends a pretty strong message that you don't know how to market yourself. And market yourself, how the heck can you market their listing? So I really encourage you to put a strong message together on your profile and on those other pages so that you can meet consumers online, build that relationship, and ultimately try to generate more leads. Stacy invested thousands of dollars in this website, and it's state-of-the-art. It's as good as any in the area of Baltimore and the entire state of Maryland. And if you use it, I'm convinced and can guarantee that it will help you improve your business. Any questions about anything we've covered? I know it's been an awful lot of information in a very short period of time.
We do have a question or two, Richard. I'm just going to let them go ahead. But yeah, to ask that, maybe you said it and I don't have it. If somebody comes to view our website or our website, or we have to go in and look and see if anybody has?
Well, that's a good question. If let me just paraphrase it so to make sure I understand. You're asking if somebody comes to your website or to your listings, are you notified in some way?
Correct.
Unfortunately, unless the consumer actually does something other than look, no, there's not any notification because we don't know who they are yet. And, you know, it hasn't gotten to the point yet where we can steal information about who the user is without them first entering it into the site. So, don't know how it's set up, but in many companies, when someone registers, signs up for the My Property search, selects an agent to be their agent, many of our companies want the agent to be notified of that and also to get a copy of the emails that the seller or the buyer gets when they register Save Searches. We can certainly do that if it isn't already being done. That'd be something you guys would need to decide amongst yourself. As far as leads, you are getting and will get leads on your listings anytime someone is on one of your properties and requests information from the company website. If they're in your website, oconorhomes.com/your name, you get that lead from any listing in the website, regardless of whose listing it is. Does that answer your question?
Yes. Richard, can you tell me, under seller's report, in terms of hits, can the report track the number of views the listing got on MLS, on Zillow?
It doesn't at this time. Currently, the only information we're incorporating into that report is the activity within the website. There has been talk internally about trying to expand to incorporate other sites. It's a technical challenge to do that. Not saying it can't be done. I would say that it probably will happen at some point in the future. It's just not there right now.
One more question. Testimonials, where they appear, and how can people enter testimonials?
That the first thing is that as the website is currently configured, there's no place for an agent or for a consumer rather to enter a testimonial. There is an ability for agents. Let me just go into agent maintenance to demonstrate this a little bit. I'll be Barbara Andrews right now. So,
doing that, can I just explain? We did explore using testimonial trees to allow consumers to go in and insert testimonials, but you're giving up a little bit of control when you allow a consumer to write whatever they want on your page. I think a better way for us to handle it is the way that the person who's helping Joan is considering doing it. Have your client do a stored video testimonial, put it up on YouTube, embed it onto your page, and then it's more genuine, it's more natural. Or if they are willing to write something, you can include that in one of your content blocks as well.
Stacy, I couldn't have said it better. I think that those are great ideas, and that's exactly what I was going to recommend. The video idea is the best. But a written testimonial from someone and having remember those pages that you can add? When you add a page, you could add a testimonial page as one of your first pages, and they would prominently be displayed on your profile.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Under searches, can you search for lot, land, or is it always other?
I don't know. Let me go into the site once and double check. I believe that under property type, there is an opportunity to search lot and land. Of course, I'm searching a really defined area within Baltimore, so I'd have to go back and do a different search that to include that. But yeah, you can search lot and land. You can search virtually any property type, multifamily, mobile home, commercial, rental, duplex, triplex, and so on. What do you think? What's your general consensus about the site? Is it a little better than what you guys used to have?
We have a lot to learn, but, everyone has to kind of take their time with it and play with it. So I really encourage you, when you have some quiet time to sit there and, try it and work with it. Richard, thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and I'll back in touch about the additional videos. And as we've done. Thank you.
My pleasure, Stacy. Thank you all for your attention today. It's been a pleasure. I will get those videos to you, Stacy, and any big questions you have, run them by Stacy, and if she can't answer them, we'll get the answers for you.